Hey, welcome back to the Ryan Ragone Show on Believe Network and Draft Network. We're at Golden Touch Cuts on the University of Miami campus with, as you see, none other than, All-American #5, Kamren Kinchens.
Yes, sir.
Kamren Sit Right Kitchens. Nah.
Inside joke.
Yeah,
Inside joke.
yeah, they don't get it. They don't get it. Not a lot of people get that or have that. Nah, but I mean, I'm glad to get you on here. I was trying to get you on here for a while.
Mhm.
We had during the summer the little day in the life of Cam Kitchens.
Yes, sir.
That was actually pretty cool, to do. You're one of the funniest guys. You're probably number 2 on the team, I would
Who
say.
number 1?
Who do you think? Come on now. Come on now. You know who number 1 is. I mean, I got to be number 1. You number 2, funniest guys on the team. But, these past couple weeks, really, this whole season, I mean, you've been having a remarkable season, but you've really, really shown out in the past couple weeks. I mean, the 3 interception game, should have had 4.
Yeah, posted.
Should have had 4.
Yeah.
Dropped one right in your hands, but we're not going to speak on that. But last week you had, 12 total tackles, 13 total tackles,
Mm-hmm.
2 pass deflections, something like that. I mean, just being dominant. So, I wanted to just, get you on here, get to talk, hear your story. I know you're from Miami and things like that.
Yeah.
Just being brought up, Miami raised, playing for the University of Miami. So, let's go ahead and, get into that. Tell me where you're from, where you, grew up.
From Liberty City, Florida, Miami, Florida. Got 5 younger siblings, 3 little brothers, 2 little sisters. Grew up in 2-bedroom house, 1 bath. Pretty small, Ain't really grow up with much, but at the same time, we ain't have nothing at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll stay able to have, shoes every now and then. Still had the games.
Didn't have a lot, but everything you want, needed.
Made sure.
Yeah.
Old girl made sure we was good, Played at, I don't know if you know, it's called Miami Northwest Boys and Girls Club. That's where we play Optimus at. Played with Romello, players like that.
Your Little League teams and
Yeah,
stuff?
Little League, yeah,
Okay.
youth. Yeah. Then, went to high school at Miami Northwestern. People ain't even, because coming out of youth football, down here is pretty big.
Really?
So they kind of they take it into recruiting it's for college, really.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. They do events with Little League teams and stuff like that, and I think it's a great thing. Not just for one day these kids gonna be stars, make them remember, but just for goals for them to reach, see those things, be like, man, that's who I want to be. This is where I want to be at this level. So I think that's pretty cool that they do that.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think it's starting to get a little out of hand though.
Nah, it definitely is.
Because it's still, at the same time, it's still even now, it's still a kid's game. But they try to make it to more what it is, and kids gonna get all over the place.
Well, no, I think it's really gone way too far, especially with the 7-on-7 stuff. I mean, these people are insane. They talk about 7-on-7 more
it's
than
real football.
Yeah, more than high school football. You hear people argue, "Oh, my 7-on-7 team did this. My 7-on-7 team had that." Okay,
That ain't real football.
No,
yeah.
that ain't real football at all.
Nah, but the only reason I like 7-on-7, it was because I didn't really travel a lot, so that was a good way to travel.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to really pay for nothing. It was cool, but ain't nothing tops real football, tackle football, 11-on-11 with pads on. Yeah, I get what you're saying. They do get a little big headed with the 7-on.
Yeah.
They all did. But yeah, then went to high school. Nobody really knew my name. At first, I played running back all my life. I never played no safety.
Really?
Yeah. And in youth, I played running back, quarterback, receiver, and D and a linebacker. I didn't even dream about playing no safety. I thought I was gonna be like Christian McCaffrey or Reggie Bush.
Toting the rock.
Yeah. But when I got to high school, just had to sit down. At first, to be honest, I didn't even want to play football. I want to play basketball.
Come on, man. But I'm glad they had to sit down with you. But come on,
My
man.
dad had to sit down with me. He was like, to be honest, bro. First of all, you're not going over nowhere than 6 feet. And he was like, you're not that good either. So it's not gonna work
Your
out.
shot is broke.
Yeah,
you cannot shoot at all. You cannot shoot, son. You shooting
Yeah.
like 10% right
Yeah,
now.
and then he had to really tell me, he was like, man, like, only reason you good in basketball and people want you on their team because you know how to play good defense.
Yeah.
Like, you wasn't scoring no points. Like, think about it. I was probably scoring like 2 points a game. But thing was, I was getting a bunch of steals, bunch of assists, you know. I'm thinking I was pretty good because everybody wanted me on their team. But then, yeah, he was like, yeah, you can't play foot. Gotta play football. You can't play basketball.
Yeah.
So then after, I had to sit down with my uncle. At the time, he was the OC at the West. And he told me, he was like, bro, to be honest, when you think about it, it's only one or two running backs on the field at one time. It's probably 5 or 6 DBs on the field.
Yeah.
So he was like, you probably don't play, you never played the position before, but you have blood enough to play it. So then ever since that, been playing safety and been doing good shit for me.
How was that? Like, it was just came natural to you? Like,
Honestly, it didn't at first. It just took a lot of hard work. Like, of course, my uncle, as soon as he told me that, he made it his business to teach me everything about the position.
yeah.
So then when I went to the West, it was kind of like we had, I don't know if you know him, but his name DeVar Wilson. He was probably like a 4-star corner at the time. Went to Georgia, now he's at UCF. And then I had another corner named Rashad Wagoose. I think he plays for the Jets right now. So I had them two to kind of look up with, and they kind of like helped me mold into what I am now. So yeah, and it was kind of like sitting behind them. You know, we won states that year, stuff like that. And then next year I had to fill in the shoes.
You know, speaking about the West real quick, just because, you know, I always talk about high school football. Miami, Northwestern, and Central played last week. You got any comments on that?
D-Rock, you played, bro. You were supposed to. He dropped the ball.
I did see that.
He dropped
I
the
did
ball.
see that.
Last drive, like. But it was crazy because I was telling all my dogs that when a scent history repeats itself.
Yeah.
So like when I was a sophomore in high school, we was 5-5. We barely made the playoffs. And beginning of the year, Central like beat us by like probably like 30. So we went into that game and we had like Sam Brooks. Sam Brooks was like the star player on our team at that time. And first play he had scored a touchdown, and we ended up beating them and then winning states that year. So now I'm like, shoot, it might happen this year, like, because that's how everything like starting to play out. Like they 5-5, barely making it to the playoffs. You know, Central, they undefeated right now, but last time they lost one game. So it was probably like, they probably big headed. You know, we just beat these people by like 30. They ain't gonna really come play, and then you just sneak up and win. That's what I thought it was gonna be. They almost had them, but
they're also, so it was at Traspal Stadium. You know, they say it's the Mecca, you know, and all this and that. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of went off on Saturday in the breakfast because, you know, y'all talk about Miami Northwestern, Central, how big of a game it is, and they talk about Traspal Stadium, the Mecca of football down here. And there's a video during that game, and they look around, man, y'all's stands wasn't even packed all the way out.
Well,
and that stadium ain't even that big.
It's not that big, and the reason it wasn't packed is because Miami Northwestern is 5-5.
Still, it's a playoff game. And it's Northwestern versus Central. Like,
right. You can say that all you want, but at the same time, the thing was, they 5-5, they undefeated. So it was like
my team was awful in high school, but we made the playoffs. There was a couple thousand people at least, like in the state, like in the stands. Talk about Miami football down here, it's different.
It is.
Nah, come on now.
It is.
That Texas football tops all that.
You can have a debate about that all you want.
I'm just saying.
All Texas got to me is O-line and D-line. To me, and quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was about to say, what about,
my fault.
the Qs? Y'all do have, you know, some good quarterbacks.
Nah, we don't top y'all, of course.
Nah, don't top us, but y'all got, you know, obviously Lamar and then Teddy, you know, a couple other guys. But like, yeah, we got quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah.
But not, and I mean, just the whole atmosphere down there.
Texas is, I don't know why Miami won't catch up with it. Like, as far as what they buy into it being like a powerhouse. Like, bro, Texas high school football is like college. Like,
yeah. But the stadiums out there, you know, people show up like
the coaches get paid a lot too. Bro, our coaches get paid as teachers.
And our coaches, so like the OC and DC, they don't even coach a class or teach a class. They just coach.
Yeah.
And my head coach, I remember my senior year of high school, they're state paid, you know, employees, so you could look up their salary. And then like came out, bro, we were awful. My coach made like $110,000 that year. $110,000.
That's crazy.
We were awful.
That's crazy.
We were bad. Like, yeah, they getting paid out there in Texas too.
Dang.
Yeah, so I mean, and some people were telling me like, oh, they get paid like an extra $3,000 during the
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
Like nothing,
Nothing.
nothing. They just get the base like teacher salary pay, and then they add like $3,000 on top. I'm like,
That's the thing. That's the difference. We kind of do it out of the love.
it's really out of the love of the game.
For real.
Really, there ain't nothing to it. Nothing. So I will give y'all that. But no, so in high school, playing at Miami Northwestern, what was the biggest game you played in?
It was either Miami versus Central or probably when we played at IMG.
What was your best game?
My best game, I probably I don't know.
You never had a game that like just stood out to you?
Nah, because it wasn't no game like I really just like super went off. You get what I'm saying? Because every game was like I always knew I was probably gonna catch a pick every game,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I probably Cardinal Gibbons I had 2 interceptions. But I think my most memorable game is when we played South Day. We lost the game probably at the end of the game. It was my sophomore year, and I didn't have no offers. I got my first offer that night. I had probably like 7 tackles.
Who offered you?
Kent State and Miami was there too, but they ain't offer me.
Oh, okay.
It was crazy. Actually, we played against Frank. Then Frank probably scored I think once, but then that game I knocked somebody's helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just crazy. I had and it was like probably one of my first games actually playing.
So when the ball started getting rolling on recruiting for you?
It was really sophomore year, probably at the end of it. Yeah, I started coming along.
Who
I
was
was
your
getting
first Power 5 offer?
first. Probably have to say, who was it? Probably Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably Nebraska.
At the were you just straight a Miami guy, like from the jump?
That's the thing. I was always a Miami guy, but it was at some point Miami ain't want me. It was more like, cause to be honest, the only reason I even got the Miami offer was because of Romelo and Khalil.
Yeah.
And Coach DVD, of course,
Yeah.
because he like real tight with my family.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the only one really fighting for me. Like the rest of the coaches, they was like, we don't know about this guy so much.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, you could ask a bunch of people like around here. When you first got here, like you was always in the film room, always studying, like always trying to learn. I'm like, man, this is like we'd come in and you'd be on your own, like just doing work, like on the field, like running, doing stuff. I'm like, man, this kid's gonna be good. And, obviously they would talk about safeties and this and that, and I always put you at the top of my list, like always, just because your work, your work ethic, because you always saw you like on the field or in the film room, like always, like there wasn't like a question about it, like if you were gonna work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And hard work beats talent every time, and you
every
have the
time
talent too, though. So it even tops that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But no, that's actually crazy to me to hear that. They weren't really sure about it, but you hear it now, so it don't even matter. But coming in, like, how was it for you? Because your freshman year was last year,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then you ended up starting. Had a good season too. Like, so how was that?
It was one of those things. It was crazy because always coming into college, I wouldn't say I was downplaying myself, but at the same time, I was like, it ain't too bad to red shirt, or it ain't too bad to red shirt. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't too bad to sit out a year, see how the flow of the game going, stuff like that. Especially when you had Bubba and Amari Carter and Gervin, those guys here. It was more of like, okay, they probably gonna leave after this year, so let me sit behind them, like learn after them. But then when I got here, played spring ball, the game didn't slow down for me, but I noticed it ain't that hard.
No,
it's
it
just
ain't.
football. Like,
Literally.
so then started getting the film with Coach Shoot, seeing how the game go, looking at other guys' mistakes and seeing how I can be better off of those. And then by the time fall camp came, I probably had like 4 or 5 more interceptions than the next guy in fall camp.
Uh-huh.
And when I seen that, and that was against of course I didn't pick up. I probably picked up Derek like one time or something.
Yeah.
But picking up like TVD and Jake, it gives you confidence. I'm like, man, I think those guys are pretty good at quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think I could do this in the game. So then after that, and then Alabama game came around. I got put in the game and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Literally them 2 weeks we had to prepare, I didn't even practice. Cause remember I was on concussion protocol from the scrimmage. So and just to be thrown in the game and seeing I actually like stood my ground, forced the fumble,
Yeah.
it was just amazing to see. And yeah,
What was your first start?
first start was against who was it against? I think that wasn't my probably. I can't remember. It was probably I don't know.
That's crazy. You don't even remember your first start.
No, that is crazy because it was a lot of games like
You played a lot. You
yeah.
played a lot. So I mean, it wasn't like that was such a big deal because you were already playing tons of reps, even though you weren't a starter. You know. But
It was probably VTech
okay. Really? Dang,
because
that's
VTech was later in the year too.
yeah. That was later in the year.
Yeah, or probably a game before that. But I kind of remember like North Carolina them games. We was kind of like rotating with Bubba and Gervin.
Yeah.
And then after Bubba had like got out because his shoulder,
Yeah.
that's when we started. That's when I started starting.
So, tell me, what was that experience like for you last year, and then how did it help you coming into this year?
What, playing behind those guys?
Well, not just your experience, like
Oh,
getting
just in the
like
entire year?
yeah, just going in, playing a lot,
It
even
was
being
just a
behind
blessing.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, I think people struggle with like I guess you being a guy in high school and stuff like that, and then going to the next level, and you're not getting. Most of the time, you get what you deserve, but sometimes people,
Yeah.
they feel like, oh, I ain't getting enough play time, and
Uh-huh.
I'm working my ass off.
Yeah.
So I think it was a pretty great experience, and it just to show you, like you said, like hard work beat out talent sometimes.
Yeah.
And it was just like I'm working. I'm just seeing the stuff I do pay off, and it was like you probably don't see the other guys in there as much. So it was like I was starting to notice that, and I was like, shoot, I got to put more in
Yeah.
because it's like when I do extra, it's like it's paying off on the back end. So it was just great to see like the stuff my uncle say or my parents say all the time, like put in the extra work. What's in the dark gonna come to the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year, I mean, obviously, it hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go, but it's a learning experience,
Yeah.
and it's something, you may never know you might needed it to become a better player, to become a better team, things like that. So we'll see where it goes. But how has this experience this year been for you? Being the guy all year and just like, stepping up in a lot of ways, like for the team, and just your relentless effort, just nose to the ball every play. Like you've had ups and downs this season, but it's mostly been ups. How has that been for you?
Been very good. Got to take every lesson how it comes.
Yeah.
And just like you said, the year hasn't gone any way how we shaped it to be. But the thing was, it was just like with Coach Cristobal, just basically just buying in.
Yeah.
Whatever he say, we got to try to do it to the best of our ability. And it's like every game ain't go how we wanted to go because it was some pretty close games. We should have pulled out and we didn't. But it was just as the year went on, it just those little things start to make more sense, and the little things start to actually contribute to us winning some games, like some meaningful games too. So I think that was the biggest thing with this year. It just you got to just knuckle up and just go with the punches. And yeah.
So tell me, before I ask the last question, what's something that like motivates you? What drives you?
My family. And other than my family, I just love football. I can sit and watch football.
Bro,
all day.
I could tell you love the game.
Yeah.
And one problem that I see, and I don't mean to make it seem like a bad thing or nothing. There's a lot of people out there like this. There's probably a lot like this all around the country. If you really ask about it. But not a lot of guys like truly love football and like actually just watch football plainly. Like NFL is on, like just watching it because you enjoy the game. Like you love the game of football, so you watch it. Or like Saturday, our game, like we're not even about to play yet. We're not warming up yet. Like just watching football in the hotel. Nobody really does that. No, like there's a lot of people that don't really love the game truly. And I think to be a great player and a great team, you got to have a lot of guys that truly, truly love the game.
Yeah.
Not just for what it brings. Some people just play it because I'm good at it, so screw it, might as well play it.
Yeah.
I think the more guys we get that truly love the game, like even if it you do love the things that it brings, at least you're gonna work a little harder for that. Not just guys that I play it just because I'm good at it. My mama wants me to.
That's the thing though. Like when you got guys that's like, okay, I just want to play it just because or stuff like that. It's easy to break them.
Easy.
Like when they feel like, man, I can't do this no more. They ain't gonna have something in the back of their head talking about, well, I gotta do this for somebody.
No, they're just gonna be gone.
Yeah, they gonna just. It's okay. I can just do something else.
Yeah.
It ain't like that for me. When it get hard, it's like it don't get hard really. It's like if it's work, it's work.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing to do that's gonna kill us that we doing out there.
So with that, at the end of every episode, I ask people, if there's a piece of advice you could give to somebody, what would it be?
Really just work hard. Like you've been saying and I've been saying the whole day, like you gotta work hard for what you want. What's done in the dark gonna come to the light, and I think that's so true. Like as many times, because Cristobal speak about it all the time about him seeing me watching film late at night while he leaving. Like I never knew he was gonna pop in one day into the DB room and see me in there. It was just something like I just do it every day just because I ain't doing it for nobody else. I'm doing it for self.
Yeah.
So I could be better, and it just so happened that they just come in. So that's really all. Just if you love it, then show why you love it.
Yeah. Nah, I like that. Well, I will say one last thing, and this is just for me personally. If somehow, some way, they don't put you as an All-American this year, I don't know what else you could do. I'm just gonna say that. You don't have to comment on it, but I don't know what else you could do at this point. Like, we'll just see what happens. But hey, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to see the last game of the season.
Yes, sir.
All right, now.